Please do. That's why we're here.
Right? But it starts as a bill. Well, a bill is a money-making order. It's a negotiable instrument. When you look at any statute law that's on the statute books, it's enacted by statutory instruments, another negotiable instrument. A statutory instrument defined is a created, written, legal contract. So it's not law, it's a contract. It's something they can apply as fictitious upon fictitious persons.
So they make us into
fictitious persons, and then they can apply these statutes on it, because the statutory law does not apply to human beings, because it's not law until it's consented to by the governed. Statute is law that only becomes the force of law if it's consented to by the governed. So with 3,000...
By the governed?
By the governed, you. Yeah, you're the governed.
So I can say that to anyone who wants to enforce a statute upon me...
Yeah.
If I choose, I can say, I don't consent.
You can say that, but you're being made an offer. So it has to come in contract form. So you're being made an offer. So what they'll do is they'll offer you something, and in a contract there has to be offer, consideration and acceptance. So you have to be made the offer, you have to consider the offer, and you have to accept the offer.
I'm not aware of having been made any offers about any statutes.
No, but you are being made an offer,
okay,
because commercial law works that way.
And you're saying it's all commercial law, that every statute is
statute law was wrote specifically for the powers that be to manipulate, to protect themselves, to do exactly what they wanted to create, and to control us as if we were in slavery. It's the evolution of slavery, that's all it is. It's very, very simply done as well. But you have to look at the law, and you look at the great laws that have gone through in this country, the Declaration of Rights, 1688-89, Bill of Rights, Act of Settlement, the Act of Union, all these documents that are these very, very powerful, famous statutes that are still, one of them is still in the law books. Oxford's law book just recently, they brought one out, and it's still in there, and it still names the Act of 1701, the Act of Settlement, because it is so important to what they do and what they've actually achieved with that. And they needed these statutes in place. The statute law is very, very... It's wrote in the form of a constitution. And if you look at what constitutions are, they're the fundamental principles a government adopts to make for society to conform to. Society being the biggest word there, being the socially dominant members of any community. Also translated as a partnership, where all parties have to consent.
So, if I get this right, then, what you're saying is that apart from laws, which are different, statutes are all passed with some sort of presumed consent from us.
No, absolutely not. No.
OK, excuse me.
A statute law is a negotiable instrument. It's a bill. It's a money-making order. Right? The government, as being the Cabinet, the Privy Council, will take the statute and they'll meet at number 10 with the bankers and they'll sell it to them.
So they pass a law, a statute?
No, they make a contract. It's not law. It's a contract.
Okay.
They get this contract and they'll go to the bankers and they'll say to the bankers, the private sector, they'll say, we've got this statute and we reckon it's worth $6 billion.
Well, for instance, it might be something like we're going to put up speed cameras everywhere. Ideal
example, OK? We've got this statute, we reckon it could generate a revenue of about $6 billion. That's fine, OK?
Per annum.
Per annum. Okay. Will you lend us that on the strength of that, but we'll give you everything in excess to cover the principal sum plus the interest. So what they do is they sell it. They sell it to the bankers for the money.
In advance of passing the law?
Not passing the law.
Statute.
It's not a law, it's a statute. So what happens is, they sell this to the bankers. They've then got the police as two different things. The police are... The human being is a policeman or woman who is there to uphold the law, serve and protect, never deny or delay right or justice to any individual who lives in this country, no matter where they're from. Then you've got the police officer. Now, the police officer is a fiction. A police officer is a corporate employee who's enforcing statutes to make sure the bankers get their money back. Now, they need then these corporate courts. And then you go into a corporate court. And
but they're not called corporate courts, are they?
No. But if you want to do the research, which I'll tell you about later, and you can go and do it, the people at home who've got the internet can go and do this right now, if they want to. right? The corporate court is then there to get jurisdiction over you to make you pay. Because they need you to pay, because without your money, and we'll talk about money as well, because that's quite funny, but without your money, they can't pay back the bankers.
But if you're saying that these statutes require your consent...
They've got to get consent from you.
So, have they not already got consent?
How can they possibly
So how do they go through the process of getting consent without you being aware of it?
Fixed penalty fine, classic, fixed penalty fine, right?
OK.
A fixed penalty notice. A notice is an offer. They're offering you something.
You're going back to the definition now of the word notice.
But this is legalese. This is a different language. This is a language of the law society.
OK, let's go back to this. Let's look at the word notice. What does notice mean?
It means it's an offer. Basically, they're offering you something. And what they'll do is they'll offer you something. They're offering you the ability to pay them some money. So it's a contract. They're making you an offer. You've got to consider it, and there's a consideration built in, and the consideration is that if you pay within 7 days, then it's half the price that we're saying it is. But if you don't pay within a certain 24 days, whatever, 14 days, it's the price that we're saying it is. Right. Very cleverly done. You've been offered something, the chance to pay them some money because you're in statutory violation, OK? You're
in violation of the statute because you've sped, presumably, or whatever you've done.
OK.
Parked on a yellow line.
They lock into the contract the consideration. You know, there's a consideration. If you pay now, you don't have to worry about it. But also what they're locking is an estoppel by acquiescence. And the estoppel...
Well, let's do this slowly. An estoppel by acquiescence.
Yeah, basically, if you ignore it, then you agree to the terms.
OK. If you ignore it, you agree?
If you ignore it. What estoppel means is basically, if you do not answer or offer back, because you can't dishonour it, you've got to offer back. This is contract law. You can't go into dishonour.
So, OK, so if, for instance, say you get a ticket for speeding and it has this offer and you don't want to be subject to it, what do you do next, then?
You offer something back.
What, like a button?
If you want it. Wouldn't work.
OK, well, talk us through it, then.
Well, if you first thing you do is say, well, you're trying to talk... The wording on the document, what will happen is that the original fixed penalty notice is you'll send a letter off. So what you do is you write the letter very specifically. You don't use misters, you don't use postcode. If you do put your postcode, put it in a box capital. Anything in 4 corners doesn't exist in commercial law.
So you put square brackets round?
Yeah, anything in 4 corners does not exist. OK? So what you do is...
This is written somewhere in law, isn't it?
Go and look it up. Go and look up the 4 corner rule.
I'm asking a question.
Yeah, go and look up the 4 corner rule. Go and look it up now.
OK, the 4 corner
Get the internet, look it up, find out what the 4 corner rule is.
So you can put your name in that if you want?
Absolutely. It means it doesn't exist.
OK.
Right? That means it's a legal entry. So what you're doing is you're reversing that. What you're saying is, I don't exist. You're talking to a human being, you're not talking to a person. You're talking to a human being.
OK.
Did this human being produce you any form of evidence to prove who they are?
You're asking the question of them?
Yeah, you ask them questions. What you do is you have to put it in question form because that's how you offer back. So you ask them a series of questions.
Right, OK.
And you adapt the questions to what your needs are. A classic example was, we go to a restaurant and we eat a meal, and the restaurant, the waiter comes up and he says, here's a notice of how much your meal was tonight. Would you pay it or ask for a bill?
I'd probably ask for a bill, wouldn't I? Yes.
You'll be given a notice, you'll be given an offer. A summons, if you look at a summons is legally synonymous with the word invitation. When you get notice of summons to go to court, you're being given an offer to go to their place of business. You're being invited. You've got a choice.
So, I think we're going to have to go to a break now, John, and we're going to get back to this. So we're going for the break. If you'd like to take